Hey, how's it going everybody? I'm just here to make a quick video to show you guys how to use a PlayStation 4 controller with your Raspberry Pi. So you might either have the Super Nintendo Pi or you might have the NES Pi, the Sega Genesis Pi, whichever one you have. There should be two USB ports in the front. So what we're going to go ahead and do is grab the controller that came with your Pi that's already configured on your specific console. We're going to go ahead and plug that into USB port 1. You know, just like you do when you play your regular Pi. Turn it on, and then we're just going to leave it like that for now. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and grab our PS4 controller and let's go find a micro USB cable. So typically this is the cable that came with your PlayStation 4. If not, just grab a micro USB cable that probably came with one of your other devices. Most micro USB cables are one and the same. It lets you charge and transfer data. If you find a controller or a cable, I should say, that you connect to your Pi and it's just not responding at all, most likely it's just a cable that only charges your device, so you don't have to get another cable. A great option would be a micro USB cable that came with your phone. Those are known to charge and transfer data. So anyways, for the moment, I'm just going to go ahead and plug this in. Plugged in, I'm going to put it to the side. So at this point, let me just adjust the camera. The Pi has already booted into what's called attract mode. So attract mode is this arcade style menu. So you can choose up and down the different things. So what we want to do is we need to get to the menu that says attract mode, and you'll see a bunch of options here on the left hand side. So unfortunately here in attract mode you don't have any options to remap the buttons on the controller. So in this specific case, I've never used this PS4 controller on this Pi, so none of the buttons are mapped correctly. So anyways, moving this up a little bit closer. So you'll see here it's set to display utility. We're just going to keep moving down till we find an option that's called emulation station. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so just keep going down and you'll eventually reach emulation station. So emulation station is really what's behind Retropie. It's everything that's happening in the back end. I clicked on the wrong button, sorry. Okay, so you'll see a bunch of script running that's completely normal. Let's put the camera back a little bit. Alright. Oops. I don't make videos very often, so you'll have to bear with me here. I'm trying to use a GoPro to record this video. Cool. So attract mode, there's a cool arcade menu. Emulation station, that's what's happening behind the scenes. That's where you can do all the configuration for everything you need. Now the unfortunate part is emulation station doesn't boot as fast as attract mode does, so it stays on this screen for a little while. It could be up to a good minute or two. I would just be patient. Nothing's wrong. It's just the way it's designed. Okay. Let's adjust that a little bit more. There you go. So I guess to elaborate a little bit more, the reason that this is a little bit more of a hassle and it's not a true plug-and-play solution. So this controller here, and typically the ones that ship with the Pis, they use Xbox 360 drivers, or in other words, X input drivers. Most X input devices, as soon as you plug them into the Pi, they'll work. But unfortunately, Sony, they don't work that way. Sony PlayStation controllers, they've always used what's called direct input drivers. So you can't just plug it in, unfortunately, it just works. Anyways, so now we're in the menu. We're inside what's called Emulation Station. You'll notice maybe this menu looks a little bit different from the one you have. Most likely the one you have goes vertical. And in this case, mine's going up and down. But what's consistent with all Emulation Station menus, you'll see the bottom here, these little menu options, those never change. So anyways, while you have your controller plugged into your Pi, go ahead and push start. Let's try to focus that a little bit more. Go to the bottom, click on configure, and actually don't click on anything yet. At this point, go ahead, plug in your PS4 controller into the port 2 of your Pi. Just remember, with these SNES cases, you gotta flip the cable over. I don't know why they designed it that way, but I'm not gonna complain about it. Okay. Let's go back to the main menu here. Awesome. So now click on configure input. It's going to ask you, are you sure you want to configure input? Yes, I do. Now it says 2 gamepads have been detected. Hold A on your device to configure it. So you see on this controller, the A button is over here. We're going to kind of mimic the button layout of a Super Nintendo controller to a PlayStation 4 controller. So in this case, A would be O. So you'll see as I'm holding the O button, it's going to pop up on the screen. Boom. Now we can go ahead and configure it. So D-pad, up, down, left, right. The start button is going to be the options button. The select button will be the share button. Then A is O, B is X, X is triangle, Y is a square. Left shoulder, the L1, right shoulder, R1, left trigger, L2, right trigger, R2, left thumb, it skipped it by accident, it was supposed to happen, but what you're supposed to do is the left thumbstick would be this thumbstick, you push it in. Same thing with this guy, right thumbstick, push it in, then left analog, up, down, left, right, and same thing with this guy, up, down, left, right. Hotkey enabled, I honestly just don't configure that. I like the start select to get me back to the main menu. So just hold and press O, and it's gonna go to OK. It's gonna ask you didn't choose a hotkey. I'm okay with that. Push O, yes. Alright, so go back. Now you'll notice I can go through the whole menu. If you end up finding out that you like this menu better than the other one, then honestly you can just go to start, push, remember A is O now, and then you could just shut down the system from here. But anyways, yeah, so now let's go to PlayStation. Here you go, PlayStation. And let's see, let's find a good game here. There you go. Let's choose old Crash Bandicoot. So A is O, remember? So we pick with A. It's gonna load the game. Let me put this back a little bit more. Start. And once the game actually loads, then the X would be just like clicking A and whatever, as if you had a real PlayStation, right? So there you go, X. He's moving around. And to get back to the main menu, you're gonna hold Option and Share at the same time. Just click it, and you're back in the main menu. Let's just try another game, just for the sake of it. Let's try. I don't know if I want to do that one. Just something quick and easy. Oops. I just want to load something that doesn't require you to go into the story and all that stuff. Just something quick so we can just show it off. You'll see here in the little yellow, it'll tell you if the controller is actually working now. So that's interesting is, so I configured this. I didn't actually have to unplug the other controller, but you can at this point if you're not going to use it. Yep, it's all working just fine. There you go. Combos work, everything's working. I am not great at this while looking through a webcam, but that's fine. I'm just gonna get out of this. So anyways, now that we're done with this, let's go back and let's get you back to the other menu now that we've configured this guy. So you're gonna go to Retropie, click O, and then the left hand side, keep going down until you see the option called Attract Mode. Awesome. We're gonna click O. And at this point I would just unplug your Super Nintendo controller or NES controller. You can just plug this back into port 1. You'll notice it's just booted off, it'll boot back up. And now it's going to boot back into the cool looking menu that you had earlier. So just to reiterate, Attract Mode is the cool looking menu, Emulation Station is the back end, and that's where you configure any controller inputs. So yeah, now that you know this information, you can use anything. You can use cool looking controllers like this. I even have me an original PlayStation USB controller. So really your options are unlimited at this point. All right. So now we're in this cool looking menu. You'll see now it's working. Whoops. Cool. So as you're moving through the menu, square is yes, and then the X is back. And you can probably change those options if you go to the, let's see here. There you go. No, actually, no, not that. There you go. So if you click on this L3 button, you can change the inputs however you like it. But if you just want to leave it as default, squares to select an option in the menu, and the X is to hit back. So again, here's the PlayStation menu. Click square. And you'll see this looks way better than the Emulation Station menu. Personally, I love Attract Mode. It just looks wonderful. And just choose square, and then the game loads. And that's it. And it's the same thing as the emulation station. Start and select together at the same time. Just tap them once and you'll get back to the main menu. Yeah, we'll just do that just to demonstrate, and then we'll be done with this. Everything's working just fine. Cool, I'm done. Start and select, and we're back. Alright. Again, X to get back to this main menu. And I'm just going to go ahead and shut down. Always shut down your Pi the right way. That's it. Thanks, everyone.